Chapter 119 of Chainsaw Man is called Thief, rightfully so, because Nayuta made a return. And not only did she make a return, she looked at Yoru like, you are a thief. She caught her making out with Denji. But let's go ahead and start with the obvious. Is Nayuta going to know the reincarnated control devil instantly that technically she's related to Yoru? I don't see why this would be a problem, but what are the nuances associated with being a four horseman? The four horsemen are incredibly powerful in the world of Chainsaw Man, but if she is reincarnated, how much of that is still kept intact? You can't help but wonder. Denji trepidatiously said, hey, this is a problem child. The way that Denji is raising her is probably better than how the government raised Makima, right? Makima was very controlled, self-preserved. She knew what she was working with, and she got a lot of people down bad in part 1. But Nayuta, just like any other child, is a problem child because when you're, what, 8 or 9 years old, it's either your way or the highway. But all that being said, Denji is still a little bit worried, right? That's why going back to the beginning of the chapter, he told Asa, hey, there's 3 rules. 1, don't open up any other apartments other than mine. Don't open up the fridge. And the 3rd one, don't make out in front of me if Nayuta sees, because we're gonna have a problem. Now, all these 3 rules are pretty self-explanatory, but Fujimoto has intent with his writings. If one of the 3 rules was broken in this chapter, the other 2 might have to come back at some point. Going into the first one, why would Asa open any other apartment door other than Denji? I wonder now if all the money that he had from Aki's savings, that maybe that's where the entire money went, right? Like the entire apartment complex is paid for continuously by Denji, and that's why he's struggling to make ends meet or just get by, because all of his funds are literally stretched because Nayuta wanted to own each and every room within that apartment complex. This apartment for my toys, I need this apartment for the dogs, I need this apartment for who knows what. It can be a multitude of reasons, but this has to come back somehow. Don't open the other apartment doors. And is Yoru Nasa going to break those rules? Definitely, because the way this chapter ended, it looks like Yoru is going to be running away from Nayuta, assuming she can even escape the situation that she's in. Rule number 2, don't open the fridge. Is this going to come to surface too? Yes, I think if anything, that might be the most comedic out of the 3 rules. Rule number 3, don't make out in front of me. Just like any sibling trying to be overprotective of their brothers or sister, Yoru got caught red-handed making out with Denji. Can I just say, Fujimoto did such an excellent job with the paneling here, because when Denji was talking to himself, does Asa not really like me because I fed her the starfish? Fujimoto does this great thing with his panelings where you really are immersed in the thoughts of what Denji's going through, right? Like, did I mess up? What did I do? Maybe it's because I stink, because I smell like a wet dog, etc. And then next thing you know, the very next panel is Yoru right front and center. And just like Denji being caught off guard, I was caught off guard with them going from 0 to 100 real quick. You know, with the kiss, we do see it's not Asa in control, but it's in fact Yoru. Now, keep in mind, Yoshida knew of the scars when Yoru took possession of Asa's body. We can say Yoshida's very keen and very acute to things, and that's how he noticed. But Denji being caught off guard with the kiss is one thing, but I can't help but wonder, is he also caught off guard because now he might notice that who ended up kissing him wasn't Asa, but it was in fact someone else. And what might be running into Denji's head too, if those spiral-like eyes is going to be running through Denji's head. Wait a minute, why does Asa have spiral-like eyes like Nayuta? This has to mean something, and no matter how this plays out, is Denji going to bring this up to Kishibe, and this is how Kishibe is later introduced into this story? Wouldn't this be a nice introduction into bringing Kishibe back into the fray? I think that would be the most organic way of introducing Kishibe into the story, and then we can learn what Devil Hunter's been up to since post Makima, and maybe how that is adjacent to Yoshida, if at all. We also learn in this chapter too, Denji does in fact like Asa. You know, with the kiss, we do see it's not Asa in control, but it's in fact Yoru. Over time, the more Denji maybe falls for Yoru, falls for Asa, that maybe that barrier that, you know, Pochita can easily block at first slowly gets weaker over time. But the main meat and potatoes, of course, is that entrance that Nayuta had, which, ooh man, how many crazy parallels did you get when you saw Makima, right? Even the way Fujimoto did that paneling, you see the dogs, you see the chains, and you see the silhouette with even the hair. I'm like, why does Nayuta look different? Just like how Makima styled her hair, Nayuta's doing the thing. Even seeing little Nayuta a little bit older too, I got crazy goosebumps wondering how is this confrontation going to play out between Yoru and Asa. Keep in mind, if you paid attention to how Nayuta pointed at Yoru saying thief, the chains were coming out of her hands. That chain literally went through Yoru's head. Is Yoru gone? Yes or no? Probably not. But yo, she went in for the kill right away without knowing who Yoru was. Like, what if Asa didn't have Yoru? Did Nayuta literally just kill a civilian just for the sake of killing someone because she rubbed them the wrong way? And speaking of all these horsemen, if you want to know who isn't the Death Devil and why it's absolutely not Kobeni, you're going to want to click on this video right here.